I'm gonna teach you how to go from like a scrawny little contractor into an agency owner. And it's actually easier than you think, but it does require a few steps. My name's Gavin, I run an email and SMS marketing agency, and this is really all I do. I just make videos about email marketing on my other channel, but on this channel, I just document my own journey about things that I'm doing, things that I'm learning, and really just to give back where I can. So at the time of recording, we're doing about $80,000 US a month in revenue, and I started 3 years ago as a freelancer, and I gradually made and managed the transition over to a jacked agency owner. When it comes to making that transition, you're gonna require three things. You're gonna require clear systems and processes, a team, and clients. That's pretty much it. The difference between somebody who runs an agency and somebody who runs as a freelancer is the scale at which you're able to service your clients. The more scale, really, the more you kind of transition into the agency model. As a freelancer, odds are you're just selling your time for money, and you have to cap out at a certain point because you run out of time. But as an agency, you're able to service more clients because you have a team and systems and processes that help you basically service more people. The first thing you need to do if you want to make a transition from freelancer to agency, in my experience, is to develop clear systems and processes so that anybody can follow your processes, i.e. when I say anybody, I mean employees, that can jump in to your business and follow clearly defined systems and processes to then fulfill the client's needs at scale without you having to be in there. So how I do that is I essentially have an Asana board with every single task that is needed to complete any task that a client might need from me. I've made very clear descriptions in every single one of my Asana tasks, super clear instructions with like video guides that any of my employees can go into, follow, and pretty consistently generate the same results that I would generate if I was doing it myself. Clear systems, clear processes. Now, I didn't mention this at the start because I forgot, but the other thing you need to do is develop a productized offer. As a freelancer, you're gonna be on these calls, you're gonna be doing all the strategy. If you wanna manage or transition to agency, you need to have an offer that you can productize, meaning you can sell to multiple people consistently and predictably, and then essentially pass it on to your team. So for me, with my email marketing agency, we have essentially 3 products that we sell in a broad sense: sign-up forms, automations, and active campaign management. There's customization within each one of these products that we sell, but for the most part, the way in which we approach servicing the client for those offerings is pretty much the same. Now, we customize the strategies, we customize the automations, we customize the sign-up forms, but the way in which we go about customizing it, go about writing the emails, the automations, or creating the outlines is consistent across every single client. I hope that makes sense, but essentially if a new client comes to us and says, hey, we need a new set of automations, we create a custom strategy for that client, but the process in which we approach that customization is commoditized. It's productized. It's the same for every single client, meaning I can get more and more and more clients, and all I need to do to service these people is I don't need to spend a bunch of my time servicing them. We have our systems and our processes that we can predictably put staff and employees into to fulfill the client's needs. So it's creating clear systems and processes, developing a productized offer, and then ultimately, after that, you're gonna wanna have a team. Because really the difference between an agency is the scale, and to hit scale, you need to have a team. I made a separate video about this, explore my channel, subscribe, to figure out really what I'm kind of talking about here. But you're gonna need to be outsourcing tasks that take you, the business owner, time so that you can free up more time to get more clients. And so when you're running your agency, you need to figure out, okay, I'm the agency owner, how much time am I spending on tasks that I could outsource for cheap? For example, in my case, it's design, copywriting, building emails. I can outsource that at a very low price, which then frees up my time to pursue more clients, build new products, so on and so forth. So you need to build a team, and I only recommend building a team after you clearly document your systems and processes. Because if you don't have clear systems and processes for your team to follow, they're gonna fail. and they're gonna start doing things their own way, then you're gonna have inconsistent results. And if one of your team members leaves or somebody drops off, it's incredibly hard to pick up all the pieces because you don't know what everybody's doing. For example, for me, depending on where a client is, right, based off of their deliverability or something like that, we have a pretty set segmentation strategy that every single one of our project managers intuitively knows. Same with our designers. We have a set build and design strategy that if one of our designers leaves, we can switch one in and they can follow it very quickly and consistently. That's how you build an agency. Obviously, to get all that stuff done, you need a little bit of moolah. You need cash, which means you need more clients, which means you have to spend less time servicing the clients and more time getting clients, which means you have to have systems and processes, a productized offer, and a team. I hope that makes sense. To get clients, to do sales and marketing, that is a whole other thing that I have a bunch of videos on my channel about, okay? I've made videos that document exactly how I get all my clients, right? I have an Upwork tool, I have a YouTube strategy, a newsletter, Twitter, LinkedIn, but that's a whole other beast. But to get more clients, you need to be able to step out of the service delivery. You also have to figure out if this is what you want, because the reality is when you're an agency, your margins shrink drastically compared to when you're a freelancer because your overheads are super low. For example, I know a guy who runs an SEO agency and he decided to get away from the agency model and transition into being a full-time freelancer. And what he did was instead of helping 10 clients at 3 or 5K a month, really 3K a month, he's decided to reduce his workload and charge 6K a month, but have more profit on that. So he's now servicing 4 clients at 6K a month, which is $24,000, but he has about 90% profit margin. So he's making really good money on it. When he was running his agency, he was making about $50,000 a month, but at 30% margin. And so you'll notice that as you grow, your overheads start to shrink and you start to make less money. Now, the agency model has a lot more upward potential than the freelancer or contract model because you're able to make a lot more money and you just hope that your compromise in margins are made up for it in scale. For example, for my agency, we generate about $80,000 a month. We have a profit margin of around about 40 to 50%. We are making more money at 40 to 50% profit margin than I ever was as a freelancer, just because we've been able to streamline our processes and have a really good team that's efficient and quick, and our retention is really good. But that's the question you need to ask yourself. Do you want to make less margin and make up for it in scale, right? As you make this transition, that you'll actually make less money as an owner of a business for a period of time. Like when it was just me and I was making 10K a month, I was actually pulling in more money from a profit perspective than I ever was at like 20 to 30K a month because my overheads in terms of staff, subscription costs, marketing and advertising had gone up. And so I had traded my profit for revenue with the intention of scaling even further to make that trade worth it. I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions, let me know. I really do make these videos just to kind of mess around, have some fun. So chuck your comments down below, subscribe to the channel. I literally have nothing to sell you on this channel. I'm just making this for fun. I produce 3 videos every single week. So if you find it useful, awesome, subscribe. Check out my newsletter down below. Check out my other YouTube channel. Check out my website. And if you do need help with email marketing, check out my other YouTube channel where I do have something to sell you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video.